Hello everyone, it is Scott here. Shortly after kickoff, I'm a couple seconds late, but it is the Northwest Derby, and it is going to be a good one. Just bear with me while I kind of get my ducks in a row, and I'll give you I will give you the lineups. Let's see the. There we go. Perfect. There it is. So yes, here is the starting lineup. We got Allison in goal. Back four. At some point in time, this was a normal back four about 3 seasons ago with Gomez in there. I'll get to the injured players in a second, but you got Hendo, Milner, and the Diamond Boy Harvey Elliott in midfield, as well as Diaz, Firmino, and Salah. That lineup picks itself because that's really all who's available currently. As United have a goal kick, you've got the 2 center backs have come very short to help out De Gea, who has had some distribution issues recently, and what's it called? Of course, Liverpool. Sorry, I'm still getting set up, so excuse me while I find my words. Of course, as always, as I do get set up, say hello, and I am going to say hello myself. Let me know who you support, your name, where you're tuning in from, and any thoughts on the match as Virgil is on the ball. Playing it out left to Robbo, who finds Diaz, and he's being harried by, I believe that's Dallo. And Trent wins the ball about 35 yards, kind of wins the ball. There's a little helter-skelter action, definitely a pretty frantic pace so far in the match. Interesting about the United lineup is that Ronaldo is benched as well as Maguire, and that's something I think you have to respect from Erik ten Hag. Obviously, it is going horribly at the start of his tenure, and I think he has to take a lot of the blame for that, as I was mentioning on my last stream. However, I think that really shows stones from him, that he is willing to drop a club legend in Ronaldo. I think everybody's kind of all together now in support that Ronaldo is part of United's past, and really I think United fans and United and non-United supporters alike are kind of in agreement that it's best for all parties that Ronaldo leaves United. It's just a matter of if they have any takers. So that will be an interesting thing to monitor, as there's 9 days left in the transfer window. Allison on the ball. Liverpool playing for the first time when it counts with the away white strip. It looks okay from the broadcaster's booth, nice and bright. Up close, I'm not a fan of it at all. Looks like a 6th grade art project, sort of. Not a fan. I like this. So instead, I opted for the old school window pane, as Firmino finds Milner surging into the 18, and Milner gets challenged in the box, and he goes down, not really looking for a foul. And I don't think anyone will be appealing for it necessarily, but he did just kind of run out of room there. Let's just see how make sure my sound is all right. Yeah, we're good. Terrific. All right, let's see here. Let's make sure the chat is working okay. Oops. There we go. The chat is working. Right here. You decide to chat in, which I hope you will. You will arrive right above my left shoulder here. Let's see. I just want to tweet out that we are live here, so hopefully we can get some more friends. All right. So yeah, as I was saying, I really respect Ten Hag dropping some of the big names. I mean, especially your captain. Who knows? I mean, I would even just speculate a little bit that that you've heard some whispers that some of the United dressing room are already sort of out on Ten Hag's ideas, which, I mean, things are going that badly at United that you can't be too surprised. As here's Eriksen from the top corner, left of the 18. He tries to curl one in, but it does not beat the wall. They jump, and it hits Hendo, loops up and pretty tamelessly over for a corner kick. As we're 7.5 minutes in, and this is a player I know nothing about. What is his name even? The Dutch left back, number 12, that United have signed. Masiala or something like that. He's going to serve an in-swinger in. Malacia. Forgive me, that is his name. He plays it way to the back post. That's a pretty just objectively bad corner, which finds Bruno, who cannot do anything with it at all. He just unsuccessfully tries to head it back somewhere into a danger zone, but it is easily collected by Allison. And so yeah, there's a couple. Now that I'm actually situated, let me kind of jump into some talking points. Of course, this is a huge clash. Very excited to see what it brings. Again, I'll mention probably not for the last time that we beat United 9-0 on aggregate last season. I mean, that'll never be topped. It's definitely the golden age of Liverpool fandom. First and foremost for how good we are and have been. But also, too, cherry on top, just how bad United has been. But nobody needs me to tell you all that, as Diaz gets a very harsh challenge receives one from Diogo Dalot. That could have been like an ankle breaker from the backside. Luckily, Diaz is okay. Let me just rattle off. I can segue into my first point about Liverpool's injury issues by reading you our bench, which is comprised of Adrian Davies, not that Davies, Harvey Davies, a second goalkeeper on the bench. Nat Phillips here is Bruno Fernandes, who feeds it through to somebody on a breakaway. A slide tackle just slid the ball over to the left as United were able to have a nice little counter for themselves. Let's see what happened here. Is Eriksen, who slid a ball through somehow that was just what's the expression I'm looking for? A needle-like precision. I think that'll work. It was just a beautiful ball. The way it fell for everything, it just seemed like maybe somebody slipped. That was how open these players were. But it was just a beautiful ball by Eriksen on the floor through to Fernandes, who noticed that he was running out of space, was able to slide tackle, pass it to Elanga, who was one-on-one with Allison. Allison, the best goalkeeper in the world. Thank you. I'm not just saying that. I think he really, showed that was really good goalkeeping I mean, any sort of striker or attacking player, really, or really any player on the pitch, it was that high of an XG chance. Really needs to be finishing that. But I think Alisson really did his best, even though he was super, super exposed, to cut down any sort of angle, and Elanga hit the post. Not a bad effort. He was trying to curl it into that far post and just hit the outside of it. And so Liverpool gets away with them. I am happy as a Liverpool fan to not have gone down for the third time, gone down first in the match for the third time this season. And this is Liverpool and United's third game. So anyway, I was reading you guys the Liverpool bench, which again, starting from the top, is Adrian, Harvey Davies, a goalkeeper, Nat Phillips, Kostas Tsimikas, Sepp Vandenberg, Basedic, Fabio Carvalho, Bobby Clark, and Fabinho. So yeah, I think. All right, here's another topic that. Well, let me bounce around within this topic by saying that also I saw somebody post on the Redmen TV a comment section. Liverpool's injured/suspended 11 is Caoimhin Kelleher, LB. Who's LB? I don't know. Konate. Oh, I guess they're just saying someone that would be a left back. But luckily we have Kostas. But anyway, the point is obviously not a lot of senior players on that bench. There's Fabinho and there's Kostas Tsimikas there. But the point is that a lot of people were saying that, listen, this Liverpool team needs to get it done against a United team in an attacking sense, because we really don't have any other attacking options, at least senior attacking options on the bench. So, yeah, I mean, Fabio Carvalho is the most attacking player listed there, as well as maybe Bobby Clark, but who the hell knows? He's 17 years old. But yeah, Fabio Carvalho is the most attacking player on that bench. And I'm not even sure that he's comfortable playing in the front three. I mean, if you brought him on, you'd probably maybe push Harvey Elliott or whatever, but let's hope we don't get there. Anyway, finishing this comment, Kelleher, Konate, Matip, Calvin Ramsey, Thiago, Naby Keita, Curtis Jones, Jota, Ox, and Nunez. So, I mean, that is just a whole laundry list of injured players. My take on this is, this is just a crazy injury crisis, and a lot of these players aren't far away, as well as, luckily we've been able to get by with not fielding any, U18 player. All of these players are senior players. They're playing in their favored positions. I know people have issues with Milner, as well as Hendo can be up and down, ditto on Bobby Firmino. But come on, I mean, this is all excuse making. If Liverpool can't get it done against a United team that is in this kind of peril, then you can only look at yourselves in the mirror. And I think everybody has to take that assessment pretty seriously. I don't have a lot of time for people complaining on Twitter about Liverpool. I mean, how spoiled can you be? We've had such a great Mo just skins Malacia, and he plays it centrally to Bobby, just a little bit too far ahead of him. But there was some good attacking intent there. We need some more of that for sure, as Hendo and Sancho kind of tussle for the ball. Sancho comes away with it. Rashford making an overlapping run. Ball doesn't get played to him at first, but now here it is. Bruno plays it way down the side. And the ball finds Eriksen at the top of the box. Looked like, there was a square pass there where Eriksen was going to be able to have a shot on goal, but he didn't take it, and the chance is kind of gone. Here's Malacia overlapping on the left-hand side. He plays it to Sancho. He's in the middle of the box. Fake shot, and sends Milner on the ground. Manchester United just spoiled a stat that I had there by scoring from open play there. It's Sancho who shows good composure in the box, and he has the entire goal basically to aim for. Just had to slip it past Alisson. Could have... Oh, man. Milner and Virgil Milner is reprimanding Virgil right now. Wow, that is very interesting. Milner must be so upset that Virgil missed some sort of assignment, or was caught sleeping or something, because that was a very public telling off that Milner felt was necessary to give to Virgil. I think that was... Well, no, it was Gomez that went sliding in on the left-hand side, really left the entire... once one player dives in the back four, especially if you're within 18 yards, you're going to screw over the rest of your team defensively. And, Milner was really made to look foolish there. Virgil was really on the top of the six. And I guess he was sort of the next man up. I think Milner, what makes most sense to me and most rationally, the explanation for that telling off would have been, tell me not to dive in, because otherwise, Sancho's going to do what he just did. So there you go. Liverpool go down again for the three times out of three this season. And we're just going to have to do it. We've got a little group chat going here with Fahey. Let's see. Fahey claiming that Milner just got retired. Okay, banter. And Liverpool, have earned the criticism, but guess what? There's also 75 minutes to go in this match. And I believe in the Reds wearing white today. I always believe in Liverpool to come back from any sort of situation. Anyway, it takes a little bit of steam out of some arguments that I was going to make. One of the stat that got spoiled was if United don't score today, their goal of the month will be, however you want to term this, either not applicable or a Brighton McAllister own goal. Ooh, some fancy twinkle toe feet by Diaz on the top of the box as he gets a little bit of daylight on the top of the D and takes a shot. It was a little bit of rush / off balance, but honestly, it really couldn't do much better with that. He just couldn't get the bend to come back inside that near post, but that will have threatened United a bit. Again, back to the... I don't even really want to talk about this, so I'll just breeze through this. But, for all those Liverpool fans out there really bemoaning... number one, if you're going to bemoan a starting lineup, then you and I are just kind of not compatible sort of to begin with, because if you're going to start complaining before a match is even played, then you shouldn't even call yourself a fan. As well as, I think, once you actually dive into the circumstance that Liverpool find themselves in, again, if you've watched me before, even just for a little, I think you've probably heard me make the Timo Werner to Liverpool situation back in 2018, 2019, whatever, which was, at the time, let me interrupt myself, with Sancho feeding Rashford through, and well done to Joe Gomez, who gets a slide tackle block as Alisson, was sensing the pressure and had to come off his line. Sometimes you see strikers slip one past the keeper in those situations, but well defended by Liverpool. Too much daylight for United so far. I don't even know if you can credit United. I'll just, whatever. There you go. Have some credit, United, for showing some life. But what I was going to say is, do they truly deserve credit, or is Liverpool really, kind of handing it to them? I think a little of both. Liverpool really have to step it up. But at the same time, again, I'm not, on the ledge here. It's not the worst Liverpool performance I've ever seen. So you're going to get a lot of ire if the half ends 1-0. By the Liverpool fans, but context is always important. Here is nice little Liverpool move as Bobby has been quite deep today. I mean, he's been making a lot of forward passes, which for anyone that hasn't ever seen Firmino play and know that he's a false nine, I mean, typically you don't see nines making forward passes. It kind of tells you that they're playing quite a bit deeper. So that's been the case with Bobby so far. And yeah, so as I was saying, with a misplaced ball by Gomez looking for Salah, and that gets the Manchester United. I got to stop using these two clubs interchangeably. Liverpool have now conceded opening goal for 7 straight PL matches. Came back to avoid defeat in each of the last 6. For whatever that's worth, there you go. So yeah. The Timo Werner sort of situation / analogy is that, this was a time where the front three was the front three. This is before Diogo Jota, and, Liverpool fans would say pretty much every off-season that, we need to sign an attacking player. And that just was not you could just tell that wasn't something that Klopp was necessarily going to do, or obviously Klopp doesn't give in to pressure or read tweets or anything like that, and credit to him for sticking to his guns, because even managers can be affected by press, and so anyway, there was so many links putting Timo Werner to Liverpool through those off seasons, and to me, I just knew it never was going to happen. It just didn't make any sort of sense. It wasn't a glove fit, because in order to sign Timo Werner at that point in time, you'd have to spend 60 million, and then he'd be coming into the iconic, legendary front three. Again, this is before Diogo Jota days, and so basically what you're saying is, all these fans would say, Divock Origi isn't good enough for Liverpool in case somebody goes down. We need somebody to take his place. But it's a catch-22, because in order to sign a player good enough to take that position, a player good enough is not going to willingly come in and sit on the bench. And then with that in mind, again, spending £60 million for a player on the bench, again, jokes aside with, Grealish being £100 million, and he basically is a bench player for City, and that same humorous discussion has happened with Calvin Phillips as well, spending, I think it was 60 million, and he's not a starter for them. So anyway, the point is that's just not how Liverpool operate, and it's ditto on the very same situation, as well as it's just not practical to speak like that. I mean, again, do I need to read the list of names off of again? That's 9 players right there. And the joke is that you can play an entire full 11 of injured would-be injured players. So that's just such an injury haul that doesn't happen often. And okay, if it does happen often with certain players, then you need to get rid of them. I know my opinion on Ox and Keita, and my opinion that kind of oscillates back and forth the most is mine on Thiago. I think most recently oh my goodness, that was almost a delicious effort by Eriksen. It looked like it was just it was quite a narrow angle. It's about 5 yards in goalwards of the 18-yard line, but towards the sideline. Anyway, that wasn't well described. I'm sorry, but he made it difficult on Alisson, who had to dive and tip it round for a corner. And it's Malacia again plays it towards the far post, and that was a better one than his previous one. He was looking for Bruno once again, but it was in a more appropriate area towards the back part of the 6. And Liverpool get away with a goal kick there. Firmino plays it to Milner. Liverpool trying to get themselves out of their own half here. and it's a United throw-in. So yeah, I mean, and again, I don't want to get too carried away. Oh, so much credit to United. But yeah, I mean, credit to Ten Hag for putting out what I would say is his most cohesive team out there. I mean, is every problem solved now that they're 1-0 up on Liverpool or any team? No, of course not. And they still have to see this game out, yada yada. But I think the point is that there was not a whole lot of momentum, if any real positive things to think about or capitalize on at United currently, and yet you have to put the best team out there, the team that gives you the best chance to win, and I think that's this one. So yeah, I mean, you've got Varane and Lisandro Martinez. Again, TBD on whether his height is really going to make or break his Manchester United career, as well as a variety of other factors. But anyway, I think there are there's a lot of different variations of United starting 11s that don't make sense. And I think this is maybe one of the few that kind of make a bit more sense. And, of course, they've signed Casemiro. Let me know in the comments if you're for, against, or indifferent towards that signing. I've never really been a Casemiro fan. While I would admit he is a very good player, I always think he's been quite a bit overrated as a Real Madrid player. Again, you can't take away, trophies and whatever, but I think he'll be a decent piece in maybe setting things right at United, but I don't think he's a transcendent player. But we'll just have to see. Here's Mo Salah on the right wing. He plays a ball towards the top of the box for Hendo, who gets a sort of scuffed volley away, and De Gea is remonstrating with his defenders. I think he wasn't too happy with the amount of space that Hendo had towards the top of the box, which wasn't much, to be honest, but it was enough to get a shot away. Yeah, he just wasn't well tracked there by Sancho. That was pretty loose defending, if you can call it that. What I would call an unmotivated defending by an attacker, being Sancho. So, yeah, and if you want to jump in the chat and play the game of, who would you keep and what pieces are right for United and what signings still need to be made. I mean, however this game goes, there's going to be definitely a certain clamor for United to be very active towards the end of this window. So, yeah, you can play a lot of career mode with each of these teams currently. Again, I think it's a little ridiculous to play that game with Liverpool, but, results haven't gone our way thus far. Of course, City tied Newcastle, which was nice to see, and to me a bit expected. I don't mean that by, I knew that Newcastle would draw with Man City, but just overall, people are so blown away by City's team. And sure, they have a great team. We knew this already, but the fact, football is not arithmetic. United is not as bad as what they're currently showing in terms of the sum of their players. Here's Diaz, who takes Dalot down the byline and tries to fizz a ball into a very dangerous area, but Dalot slide tackle blocks it out for a corner. Where I was going with that previous comment was, if you looked up United's individual player ratings on FIFA, you would say, how could this team be this bad, and honestly for this long and such an extended period of time? And the real answer is that because football is a system game, and a lot of people would say that Liverpool is more than a sum of their parts. If you take out Salah, you can make an argument that he wouldn't be as effective at Real Madrid or XYZ, and we've talked about that all before. So yeah, the point is that United, their players are underperforming, and their system is underperforming / just not working. So it's Ten Hag's job to both motivate, set a philosophy, and get players to play in a strong tactical system and have an identity, because I think that's something that United have lacked and Arsenal have lacked prior to this season. Even Spurs. I mean, a lot of teams. You could say Chelsea too. I mean, I was going to say that too. Is actually I jotted this in my notes before starting today. Was so let me just read it verbatim. Is I said towards the end. I understand Liverpool fans looking at our lineup and saying, but the variety of factors piling up to put us in this position are pretty wild. If this is the situation when you need that player X that everyone wants to sign, and that's the other thing too. If you're dying for Liverpool to make signings, please, you have to start by saying who the player is. Then you can begin to have a conversation. It's all well and good to say like, oh, you need a player, but that conversation is very close to being very uninteresting if you just are there to complain and say, oh, Liverpool need to make a signing. We'll start by saying who that player is, or at least the profile of player. A young right winger that cuts in on his left, or a player that can press high, or something like that. Because I guess me getting to be my old age, I just don't have patience for complaining, especially complaining without the suggestion or hope of a solution. So anyway, I think then once you name a player that you would like to sign, then you can discuss whether that player would be a good fit, or if that player is feasible to sign, if the club's going to spend that type of money to bring a player like that in. And yeah, I mean, you got to really respect the way that Liverpool have done business, and the fact that they just kind of go like this when fans are complaining online. And okay, if people want to say FSG out, let them do that. It's just ridiculous. The transfer committee at Liverpool has been amazing as Alisson sprints off his line, expertly so, as he was feeling some pressure from Elanga, and Joe Gomez probably was there first, but Alisson at least was facing in the right direction, did sort of a slide tackle, sort of half volley out of play, and then got back on his line as Harvey is trying to link up with Salah. I think United have done a pretty decent job of, how do I put this? Really just breaking up passes and attacks. I was going to say of like uglifying the game. I don't really mean that even in a Mourinho sense. They're looking to play. So again, credit to Ten Hag on that. But yeah, I mean, the way that Liverpool needs to do better. Crisper passes, better runs, better better synergy. And here's some of that. This is beautiful. This is looking like Liverpool. They find Mo Salah. Who else? He slips it down the line to Trent, who plays a beautiful ball in, and nobody's there except United players who barely, get a touch away. They sort of parry it, and it fell to Elliott, who got the juices flowing a little bit as he ran up to strike the ball, but that was blocked. And Liverpool reload, but that was exactly what I was saying Liverpool needed to be doing, was string 5 passes together, pass and move, and what United's been able to do, up until that point, has been to kind of scupper those passes and really stop momentum. Here's, oh boy, James Milner. This is exactly what Twitter's going to clip when they say just how unhappy they are with him in the team. I think that, yeah, I mean, Milner's going to be victim number one when you want to make changes, substitutions within this game, specifically I'm talking about. And so I think, some eyebrows were raised when Fabinho didn't start. I think that's just like a rest sort of thing. And, who knows, maybe he had a little bit of a strain or something that Klopp just didn't feel comfortable starting him in, as well as, again, this is Manchester United, bottom of the table. This is really a game, at least pre-match, that you really think that Liverpool should be able to take care of. But this is always what happens, and I'm not even going to say the cliche with derbies. But yeah, I just got the feeling in my stomach that as soon as you think like, oh, this is a game that Liverpool's going to win 4-1. I mean, that was a very, unsurprising prediction that you'd see out there. And I'm not just saying on Twitter either, or fan channels. I'm saying, the BBC and, the Guardian, and people just expect this game to be a foregone conclusion. And in fact, I think that was in the title of the Totally Football Show's podcast last Thursday, that is this match going to be a foregone conclusion? And here you go. We already have our answer. Liverpool trailing 37 minutes into the match, as Bobby finds himself on the left wing. Here's Diaz trying to get himself more central. He's been a live wire would be a little too complimentary of him, although he just constantly is a live wire. He has been Liverpool's brightest spark, I think, is a more appropriate way of saying it so far. But anyway, we're gonna need some more of Luis Diaz to save us from losing to Manchester United, as we needed his help to prevent us from losing to Crystal Palace at home. So it's all right. It's all right. I didn't get a chance to see or listen to too much what happened pre-match. Once again, you had United fans demonstrating outside the stadium, Glazers out. They love doing it against Liverpool, which I think kind of warms the heart, if we can just ignore the scoreline for a moment. That here, we can ignore the scoreline this way for a moment. That United love making demonstrations against their owners against Liverpool, because you want to do it on a platform, a match that matters. You don't want to do it against, no offense, Crystal Palace or Wolves, just any old game. You want to do it against a match against Liverpool, and if you'll recall, the game got postponed last year, and so much so that of course it came up in the pre-match, and Klopp was saying that if United fans make trouble and get the game postponed, that we should just be awarded 3 points. And you don't really think that that's necessarily ever going to happen, and in some ways it's very unfair. In some ways it is understandable. I mean, Liverpool prepare a match, you have the schedule, they show up ready to play, and United, not that the fans and the club and the players are all the same thing, but it is, if they're the ones creating trouble, you can sort of understand at least the beginning of an argument that that type of trouble created should be penalized. But alas, of course that's not the issue at hand. So yeah, I just found it funny that this is becoming a theme that United fans love demonstrating against Liverpool. Oh, and it's a ball in by Trent, finds Bobby, who on the swivel, first touch, passes it back and lays it off to Salah, who always causes excitement when he's in the box, and he got a decent effort off, but it was blocked there by Lisandro Martinez. The slide tackle block is becoming a recurring theme in this match. as it is going to be a corner kick on the right-hand side. It is Robbo who goes over to take the in-swinger. Hand up, serves it in, and it's Virgil / Milner. Oh, that is almost a goal for Liverpool there. Harvey Elliott on second attempt has a delicious effort curling towards the back post. That was close as well. So what happened there was a beautiful in-swinging corner by Robbo. It looked like it was Virgil's ball to go up and get there. It was a little too tall for him. It was Milner who put the header, I was going to say on goal. That looked like it was going well wide. And United get very lucky there that Bruno goes to clear it, and he was going to slam it right into the back of his own net. But it hits Lisandro Martinez in the face or the chest. I think some Liverpool fans were maybe claiming his arm, but I think it was here. And then it almost may have rattled off the post. And then, like I said, Harvey Elliott with a beautiful little effort. He tried to curl that ball inside the post. But, yeah. Oh, here's a ball into Diaz, who just can't keep his balance on the top of the box. There's Rashford down the right-hand side, and Virgil deals with that very easily. Harvey gets the ball, who reloads with Milner, who has quite a bit of space deep into his own territory, but can't find an option, and lays it off to Virgil. Now we're down the left-hand side with Robbo and Diaz. Robbo, interestingly, with maybe a broken or sprained pinky or something. He's got some heavy bandaging on that left hand. Here's Robbo playing it to Elliott. Oh, beautiful ball in by Elliott, who just dinks one in, a curled ball down the byline for Robbo to go chase, and he does beat his man there. Let's see who was marking him there. He shows his pace, that he can get past Raphael Varane, who, to his credit, is able to block the cross, and it goes out for a Liverpool corner. So quite a few corners so far in the match. Just checking some stats maybe. Here's a ball in, and that was a Robbo outswinger, and it looked like Bobby was arriving for it, but he just couldn't get to it before the defender heads clear. The XG is 0.94 to 0.59 in favor of United, yet the possession is 68% in favor of Liverpool. 0 offsides for either, 3 corners for United and 2 for Liverpool. And David De Gea comes out and catches the ball about 7 yards from his goal as a headed pass centrally from Robbo finds too much of space that De Gea just invites himself to come collect. They're showing Ronaldo on the bench for at least the second time this half. They put up, this is interesting. I mean, typically when you flash up something on the screen, it's more stat based. But they just listed Cristiano Ronaldo, forward number 7, and then they put, oh boy, Virgil with the back. Virgil had a whole lot of pressure that he wasn't feeling on his backside by Alanga, and just lays it off to Alisson. And as soon as the ball left his foot, your heart goes in your mouth there as Diaz is slamming the floor. Play developed very quickly as a yellow card will be brandished to Dalot, who I think has he's gotten himself in trouble a little bit in this first half. He's pointing towards the ball, but he definitely went through the player there, and I think deserves a yellow probably for that challenge as well as persistent fouling. But anyway, Liverpool able to avoid a scare at the other end of the pitch with Alisson clearing it. And then, Diaz kind of getting taken out from behind. Here is Robbo. He's probably 25 yards deep from United's goal, and probably a 40-yarder based on its position towards the sideline. But it gets dealt with rather quickly, and Gomez has to reload with Alisson. 1 minute of stoppage in the first half, 20 seconds remaining. Alisson is now 45 yards from his own goal as he goes for a wander. Plays the ball up, and I think that was Milner that was contesting it, but he gets bundled over, no foul. Elliott plays it to Robbo. Got to take a chance here, Liverpool, if we want. Nope, he's going to blow for halftime. And Liverpool trail going into the break. And I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to act like Klopp and go in and decide, what needs to change. And I will be back with you in the second half, let you know if there are any changes, and stay tuned.
My name is Kevin Murphy and I love Liverpool. Salah, Mane, and Bobby Firmino, but we so Coutinho. But that don't matter at all actually, because we got Salah. Mane, and Bobby. Alright, Jurgen Klopp will pull us through.
right, so we are back, and it is Anthony Martial that is coming onto the pitch as Manchester United try to extend their lead. Eric Ten Hag is giving a friendly wave to the crowd. He's looking very stern with his eyebrows very low, determined. He's clapping. He's looking for some more support, and maybe this will kickstart United's season. And Bruno Fernandes gets the second half underway as Liverpool win the ball from United in United's half already. It's Harvey looking for Salah. Liverpool team was sent out pretty early, not super early, but along with, I believe, Andreas Kornmeier, the fitness coach, to do some sprinting drills to really fire Liverpool up, as I'm sure Klopp fired them up with his words. During the break, he looked very unhappy. Liverpool was knocking the ball around United's penalty area, and it hit the official, Michael Oliver, and I think normally that results in an indirect, but it would have been quite a dangerous indirect or threat, at least a threatening position, and instead the official, missed touch from McTominay and picked up by Diaz right outside the box, and Firmino gets the ball blasted away from him by a United defender, and it's a Liverpool throw. Oh my goodness, there we go. The crowd's going to go nuts with that one. Andy Robertson slips after Milner tries to play the ball back to him. Also wasn't a great pass. I would substitute Milner pretty early in this half. Not a knee-jerk person, but I would still say that he's not having his best match, and maybe his age is showing, but I still think that Milner is a great presence and character around the dressing room. I mean, actually, I think everyone thinks that. Even, at least I think I can afford that to the Milner on-field haters. I think they would at least concede that he's a great leader in the clubhouse, to use a baseball term. Liverpool gets fouled. Milner gets brought down by a combination of Eriksson and Lisandro Martinez, the Ajax alumni, out by the right-hand sideline, and Liverpool are going to have a free kick as Trent takes a basketball dribble, has the ball in his hands, and he's going to set the ball down. So yeah, here we go. Liverpool have a ready-made sort of opportunity here to have a shot on goal, and it's towards the back post, but unfortunately it's two United defenders that are taking up that position. Henderson was just a bit deeper, so Liverpool don't even get a shot away with that opportunity. Here's Harvey, who's going to take it straight out of the air, much like his fellow Fulham alumnus has done so for the past two matches when he's come on as a sub, is take the ball right out of the air, even though it's an ambitious effort. But I think you got to hand it to both of them that their focus and their technique are two real strengths of their game. So it's not one of those where Ox lines up from distance and, 45% of the time it goes sailing over the bar. Here's Trent that's going to take the corner from the right-hand side, and it's Salah who takes it left-footed straight out of the air, but that just had way too much whip on it, and he fires it over the bar. And Manchester United will have a goal kick. Let's see what they do with it. If they take it short, he's given two short options, but I think you knew that Liverpool was going to definitely press United high in this match because of the mishaps that De Gea has had. But I don't think that United, I think at least for this match, really at any stage, whether they're winning, losing, or drawing, I don't think that they are going to mess around with that. Of course, Liverpool are pressing experts. Not that Brighton aren't. Oh my God, Bobby Firmino just had a water boy-esque acrobatic move. He fell to the ground and almost did like a cartwheel to very gracefully get back onto his feet. That was probably Liverpool's highlight of the match so far. As Rashford, who has not really done anything all match, I will say, as good as United has been. I think that is grading on a curve, but United have certainly had some positive moments in the match. Rashford really hasn't been central to any of them, at least in my memory. Manchester United 0 wins, 3 draws, and 5 losses in 8 Premier League meetings versus Liverpool. Last Premier League win, I think the graphic went away, but I think it was in 2018, it said. So United will look to break that record, per se. United fans are enjoying themselves, clapping and singing. Couldn't read the lips, but probably was glory, glory. As the ball gets curled in from the left-hand side. None of it matters since the offside flag was just raised. But it was punched clear by Alisson, who dealt with it quite expertly, came out and timed it correctly. So lucky to have a goalkeeper like Alisson who can be relied upon 99% of the time. Manchester United 4 straight Premier League losses dating back to last season. Haven't lost 5 straight matches since league matches since 1972. That's quite a stat there. Here's Harvey Elliott, who plays an outside of the foot, little too fancy because he didn't have the mustard on it to get to Salah, but it was a nice looking effort. Again, Harvey Elliott, without making a supreme or a real decisive impact. Here's United, who are threaded through, and it's Rashford, who looks like they're going to double the lead. There will be a VAR check there with offside. It kind of looked offside, but if it wasn't, it was just a well-timed run. And Rashford's making me eat my words. I mean, granted, he just ran onto the ball, but it was a good finish as Alisson came out and tried to do the same that he did with Elanga and tried to take away angles, but wasn't able to do so. I mean, this is just a straight-on, terrible touch by Henderson. This goal is going to be all his fault. It jumps away from Henderson and it falls to Elanga, who just has acres of space to thread the ball past Gomez and into Rashford. This is definitely coming back for offside. They're showing it's not a great angle, but even with that, you can see the lines in the grass. Oh my goodness! It looks like they're going to give it. They're giving a green line. They're saying onside. Even with that awful camera angle, that I think is silly ruler drawing. I thought you could see with the blades of grass that he was offside there, but apparently, yeah. The United fan, friend of the channel, Fahey, was saying, "How is that onside?" With an upside down smiley face. He won't be complaining too much, but even he, I think, is saying that's a little bit of a funny line being drawn there. I wonder what the NBC commentators were saying. Again, if you follow the channel, you'll know that I am Oh, and that was almost a goal. A goal grabbed right back by Liverpool as Milner went down the right-hand side, centered it, and it was point blank by Diaz, who just tried to bundle the ball into the goal. It was a sort of a bang-bang play where Milner fired it right into the right area. Wow, that was a not lucky, well-timed challenge, but Trent is a lucky boy that he got the ball there, because we all know Trent can get frustrated, and they just replayed. They did like a 360 camera angle on this Rashford replay, and that one maybe looked like he was onside. I don't know. I mean, again, the camera angle, you would think they would have something that's doing the replay gentleman some favors, but on the VAR display. But anyway, lots of action happening here. Liverpool almost grabbing a goal back, but it was De Gea who was able to save it quickly. And here's going to be another offside play, I would think, not being given. Varane looked offside when they played the ball back in after Liverpool cleared out after the corner. And he brings the ball down, juggles it for a little bit awkwardly, and then Rashford able to have a chance, and that was going to be a nice finish. It needed that save from Alisson, who just pushes it past the post, and Martial was waiting on that rebound. Martial taking up a position right next to Alisson, but Alisson able to kind of shove him a bit. Anyway, it's going to be Liverpool with a throw in. So yeah, I invite particularly any Liverpool fans, but really anybody in the chat who is watching. Oh, and Harvey Elliott has a nice a dagger of a shot. Again, it kind of sums up Harvey Elliott. A lot of good things, a lot of right things, a lot of well-intentioned ideas, but just not that decisive edge. And I'm not blaming him. I mean, he's the one that's trying things, again, good ideas, but just can't sneak that inside the near post. But it was definitely made De Gea think twice about watching that go into the outside side netting, as Fabinho is going to be brought on. It's got to be for Milner. And not that Fabinho is the most attacking player, but I'm looking for anybody to bring something more towards Liverpool's attack. I mean, Fabinho is, I think, quite an underrated passer. I don't think a lot of people think of passing when Fabinho's name comes up, but, you know, at least in my brain, he has a signature type of pass where he just plays this very flat, kind of looped through ball, which makes it very difficult for defenders. So maybe we can get something going here. Here's a ball over the top for Bruno, and that was looking tricky for a little while, but Alisson comes to the corner of his box, was ready to deal with it as Bruno clips, I think that's Milner, as Milner goes for a cross-field pass, and Bruno could probably be a little lucky if he avoids a yellow card here. I mean, it was a stupid kind of squirrely type late belated idea of pressing, and it's going to be Hendo that makes way. Fabinho is coming on, and Liverpool really need to turn some things around, as Fabinho almost gets on the ball immediately, but he leaves it for Trent. Ball's already recycled back to Trent as Liverpool reload with Alisson. But anyway, I posed the question to anybody watching along in the chat. So what is going on wrong with Liverpool? Is it the signings? Are we missing Sadio Mane desperately? I mean, I think the easy and obvious answer is depth, but listen, I think that's a complicated question. I'll just leave it unaddressed for the time being, unless someone wants to jump in and dive into that with me. But I think it goes sort of beyond that, because again, saying that it's depth is just like, okay, well, what does that mean? Whatever. I don't want to get sucked into that whole conversation. I think you have to look at this and blame the players a bit. These players are good enough to beat Manchester United. They know they are. Klopp knows they are. The Liverpool fans should know they are. But again, we get swept up in media coverage and sort of animosity within our own camp online that there just seems to be one sort of narrative that, oh, it's our depth and that's the problem. But guess what? You put this Liverpool team out, or this Liverpool team is put out, and Klopp doesn't really. What we all can agree on is that Klopp didn't have a lot of options heading into today. Now you could say Fabinho could have started. Okay, would he have been the difference? We can't say. Probably not. Just because this is sort of a mentality issue of the Liverpool players, and I think that it's kind of funny that you look at it that Liverpool are having a mentality issue, because a lot of times we've been mentality monsters. But if you sort of alternate now that Liverpool's having one season of being on fire on and one season of being completely off, is I don't know what just happened there, but Bruno was way offside, and what offside was given. For a second, I thought maybe was that like a deflection where he was onside. He was way off, and then he tried to backheel volley it past Allison, who caught it. But that was almost one of those real weird, like Mkhitaryan type goals where he just tries something and it's 3-0. But anyway, I think it's a mentality issue right now. I think Liverpool are mentally slumping. I think injuries will come back. That will certainly help. Obviously, personnel that will kind of improve our depth situation in a natural sense, as well as Liverpool players need to get their heads out of their asses. I mean, this Liverpool team should not be struggling as much against United. United's taking their opportunities, but I think even the most ardent United supporter would tell you that United played, the most ardent United supporter wouldn't tell you that, oh, United played us off the park. I mean, Liverpool are looking like shadows of the team that we have been and can be. And it's nothing, let's not get crazy here. Again, whether you're a Liverpool fan or not, you can't look at these players and say, oh, there's something permanently wrong with Virgil van Dijk, Trent, Mo Salah, Diaz. And the emphasis, in case you didn't grab that concept here, is permanently. Again, there might be in a funk right now, but Mo Salah is going to get back to his best. I know it's been 6 or 8 months by now that he really hasn't looked like himself. He hasn't since the African Cup of Nations, but if you want to think that he's done or whatever, be my guest. I'm not even going to argue with you, just because that's silliness. And here he is. He gets something going. He finds Diaz. Oh, and see, it's just, what's a shame is that there's a couple players that there's really nothing going wrong with in Liverpool's team, which I just said Mo Salah's a little off the boil, but you saw right there that sharpness, that he played a beautiful little 1-2. It's that elevated top-class level of thinking. Get Fabio Carvalho on the pitch, please. He's warming up, so is Costas, and so is Seb Vandenberg. Maybe he'll come on and be the hero. Maybe this will be Stefan Basetic's debut and his writing himself into Liverpool lore. But, God, we can only hope. But anyway, what I was saying is, I've seen no issue with Allison. I've seen no issue with Diaz. I've seen kind of no issue with Salah either. And they're working together, and then Salah tries to play Bobby through. And it's just that chemistry, again, the funk that I was talking about. Obviously, there's chemistry there for Salah and Firmino. It's not non-existent. It's just dormant at the given moment, and players just need to get their heads out of their asses. That's my diagnosis on Liverpool right now. It's, I'm not saying fire Klopp. I'm not saying, bench these players or sell these players. These players are the ones that are going to get ourselves out of this rut. I don't know why the rut, but that's just human beings. Oh, and it's Harvey that plays it. Nice lofted effort. Oh God, and this is just how things are going with Liverpool at the moment. It's offside. The play is blown dead for Liverpool. Trent plays the first ball in. Bobby plays a nice, beautiful, instinctive ball back to Salah, who then threads it for Elliott, who I guess Elliott was the one that was offside. It was Robbo that was chasing it towards the backside of United's goal, but he was offside. And it's De Gea that's going to boot it long. Are there any Liverpool fans out there that still believe in this match in particular? I think again, it's a real test of faith in your Liverpool fandom. I mean, I think a lot of people would say I'm delusional to think that we can still pull things back. And listen, I don't see any evidence of us turning things around on the pitch right now. It's kind of just a blind faith / a body of work type of thing that, again, we've seen Liverpool pull something out of nothing. Istanbul 2005. Now, some people will say, come on, that's ridiculous. That's none of those players are still around. But it is in the fabric of this team, and the same with the Barcelona comeback. I mean, we looked beaten to a pulp against... Oh, and it's a headed effort from Fabinho at the back post on a corner. And he heads it down. He did the right thing. Made De Gea go to ground. It's a relatively routine save, but it's one of our better chances. So you just got to keep, unfortunately, sort of taking baby steps. So anyway, you just got to take one game at a time. It's just like life. You got to, if this ends up being a loss, then your next opportunity is against Bournemouth. I believe is it away? It really shouldn't matter, to be honest. Away to Bournemouth, but there you go. I mean, there's a gift from the gods that... Oh, no, it is home. So, I mean, if that's not going to be Liverpool's first victory of the season, I don't know if it'll ever come. Obviously a bit tongue-in-cheek, but again, it's you got to be optimistic. Liverpool's going through a rut right now, same as to any of you. My advice is if you're going through a bit of a head fog or anything like that, it's the same thing. The next day is your first opportunity to set things right, and that's exactly the mentality that Liverpool are going to need to have. I don't know why today Liverpool don't have the right mentality. Again, and that's the other thing too, is this is not a long-term issue, I assure you. These are not, where I would levy that against United players. You have players with the wrong mentality or I don't know, the winning gene, if you believe in stuff like that. That's something that you need to overcome or get the right players in or whatever. But we all know that Liverpool players have the right mentality. It's just I'm sure they want to win. I'm saying a bunch of silly third grade things, but I'm sure they want to win. It's just they don't have it today, and it's a bummer to see as Gomez plays the ball down the right-hand side for Trent. And interesting one there by Malacia, who gets the rare 2 stabs at a slide tackle. He slid tackle whiffed on the first attempt to get the ball away from Trent, and then was able to get back up on his feet. Luckily, his first failure of a slide tackle proved as an obstruction for Trent, so he was able to get up and slide tackle out again for a throw-in. But anyway, I'm providing inch perfect details on how Liverpool have won a throw-in. So back to the action. It's Virgil playing a real long ball towards Trent. Oh, and it finds his feet. Trent, nice idea. First time half volley drilled cross. It was a nice idea. I don't really fault him for it, but having said that, once it goes out for a goal kick, you kind of want to, rewind and say, I should have taken a touch there. And, but again, then that's, can throw off the timing of the run or stuff, anything like that. So Liverpool struggling for sure. Fred is going to make his way onto the pitch for Sancho. Sancho also I would put in the same category as Rashford. I don't think he was... Well, actually, there you go. I've forgotten that he opened the scoring, and that was... I gave him credit at the time that he showed great composure to put his foot on the ball and finish to open the scoring. But aside from that, I really don't... I think United's best attacker has been Alanga. I think he was probably the brightest. As well as Bruno, not great, but impact. He has been he's been not absent. So yeah, I think it goes to show that while United are winning and deserving of this would-be victory, again, it's not like United are flying on all cylinders currently. Not the highest quality match, I think you can say. There's Millie, who plays the ball to Harvey Elliott, who lets the ball run. That was probably the wrong decision, although Lisandro Martinez probably could have taken a touch and retained possession for United, but he decides he has a lot of attitude, attitude-inducing faces, Lisandro Martinez. I don't know who he was quite having a conversation with, but he didn't look too pleased. Someone probably said take a touch, and he didn't like the feedback. So I'm not sure about that. Maybe he's just feeling the pressure of his price tag and, being a new kid on the block. But my quality is going to crap. Maybe that's a little metaphorical for this performance, as Carvalho gets a quick hug from Klopp, and he's going to come on. Maybe also metaphorical that this is more what we need from the season. We need more Carvalhos and less Milners, as Casemiro and his partner are smiling, and he gives a wave to the crowd. Come on, Liverpool. Just hand in momentum towards United. This is not what we want. We want United to continue to be in the dumps, and when you have a tough start to your United career, whether you're Ten Hag or Lisandro Martinez, it's kind of tough to dig out from that. So, Casemiro being present in the crowd, could have gone the other way too. I mean, obviously last season you had the whole memification of, and I think Bruno's going to get booked for diving here. And he's getting up laughing. What a freaking clown. I hate Bruno and players like this. Good for the referee there. I really just want to take a moment and applaud that. Here's the replay. He takes a touch. Ball gets away from him. It's his own fault. He takes it. There's absolutely zero contact from Andy Robbo. He puts his foot on the ground, and Bruno is looking for the foul. He dives completely. United fans, defend your boy. This is atrocious behavior. I can't stand it. I mean, You cannot defend that type of stuff. It's one thing to go down soft, and then you start to get into a conversation about how much contact there was. That is indefensible behavior, going down in the box. So glad that the referee was able to get it straight away. Didn't even have to use VAR or anybody in his ear, and he punished it. That is the perfect thing to do, and not often enough do we see yellow cards for diving. As Trent finds Salah, he takes a little sidestep. I thought he was going to shoot the ball, and he passes it to Fabio, who gets a shot off that is blocked, but it all is for naught and comes back for offside. And Klopp is saying, come on, Liverpool.
Of course, Liverpool.
Liverpool really struggling. And ball booted long for United this time. I don't know, the long balls seem to be working for United this match. Maybe Ten Hag will have a rethink. I mean, one thing that will be interesting, just in general, zooming out from this match for a second, is Rashford takes a pop. He does well to gather possession, get past his man on the left-hand side, cut inside on his right foot, looking pretty confident and dangerous. Yeah, he just sidesteps Trent there, and that was a nice strike. I don't know if it took a deflection. There was quite a bit of bend on it. I don't think that any Liverpool player got a touch there, so that should be a goal kick, but it was kind of outside in, headed for that top corner. I mean, that would have been an absolutely aesthetically beautiful goal had he found that top corner. You got to love when, the ball just bends into a top corner, not just fizzes into the top corner, but bends right into it. And he had, Alisson beat. It was up and over his head. Who knows if Alisson, would have had it covered under the crossbar, hence it, going over the bar. And Alessandro Martinez is down on the floor. He was holding his knee. It looked like a possibly, one of those ligament injuries, but alas, he is just getting the calf, cramp treatment. Who knows if United are already starting with the time-wasting tricks. But so what I was saying, I believe, before Rashford interrupted me with that effort was something about United overall. What was it? I think it was something about their attack. I mean, again, United definitely looking more fluid. This definitely tactically makes much more sense. Oh, what I was saying was what'll be interesting, not necessarily about the attack, but maybe build up and sort of just philosophy is obviously, goalkeepers are expected to play out of the back nowadays, and most goalkeepers do. But De Gea is a club legend. And he's probably helped me out, United fans. I mean, he's I would say easily a top 3 United goalkeeper ever. Obviously, you have Schmeichel, and then Van der Sar and De Gea, I think, are probably comfortably, no debate, the top 3 United keepers. But I wonder what order, has De Gea surpassed Van der Sar? And I think, be honest with that conversation. I mean, it'd be very easy to say, for just the sake of these trophies, Van der Sar beats, De Gea, but I don't know. Listen, Van der Sar was obviously a great goalkeeper, but I think he was just a member of a lot of those great teams, and United were so dominant in those days that I think he was great when called upon, but I don't know that. Put it this way: Alisson is a lot more active and called upon, even during Liverpool's dominant spells. He comes up with so many huge saves and crucial saves in big moments. where I, as a Liverpool fan, would be happy to tell you I wish he wasn't called upon and having to make those big saves in moments where equalizers might be coming, or goalkeepers other than Alisson wouldn't keep us in leads. But I think that's just the difference there, is that's how tactically the game is in the modern day, as well as back in those like mid 2000s, United was just sort of like a dominant team and had the possession, and not that Liverpool doesn't have the possession in a lot of games, but you know what I mean, that it wasn't as helter-skelter, it was more, and it wasn't tiki-taka either, but it was just like kind of good general all-around attacking play sort of thing. So a lot of their opponents didn't really get a lot of chances, whereas Liverpool play a high line, as we know, and a lot of teams counterattack very well these days. So anyway, that is my take on the echelon of Manchester United goalkeepers. Oh, and Liverpool have a chance. My freaking feed is too blurry here that I couldn't tell too much what was happening. Let me try and fix this. Rabo had the ball, played the ball in, and it was Lisandro Martinez who made an attempt at the ball. Otherwise, Firmino would have gotten to it. It was almost the second own goal of the match for Manchester United, and it's Fabio Carvalho who has an attempt on goal. Liverpool score. Can we get back in this match and rescue a draw, as Bruno Fernandes has to probably watch, and he might get a second yellow card. Mo Salah is going for the ball. This is unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever seen this. He's such a pursuit. Oh my god, this is like sharks and minnows. Bruno Fernandes, oh, now he's holding his face. What a clown. This guy should be sent off for simulation again, as well as that's just time wasting. Typically you have time wasting. I can't believe we're talking about this. But you have time wasting usually for celebrating too much on a goal. And here's Bruno Fernandes that had the ball. I mean, typically all it takes is the attacking player who, is chasing the game and trying to... Here, anyway, let's describe the goal. Fabio Carvalho, beautiful turn, swivel, half volley. Great touch. Hits it on the swivel. Nice save by De Gea. It was kind of in his wheelhouse. But then Mo Salah, little... chipmunk that he is, gets up and goes for the header, able to nip in front of somebody else and get that goal back. So Liverpool have some hope here. There's still a good 10 minutes left in this match. But yeah, that was a very weird scene involving Bruno. Can't really say you're surprised because he does invite controversy, and you knew exactly what he was doing. He was trying to waste time. Again, even United supporters I think would probably agree with me that he needed to hurry a little bit. I mean, when an opponent goes to get the ball from you, okay, doesn't mean that you have to give it to Salah, but you at least have to kind of, in the same way that at the end of the match, when you get substituted and you're trying to kill time and the ref tells you to hurry up, you kind of have to even at least fake it. You got to do it a little bit, everyone's watching you, that you need to kind of give it the jog or throw it out. And again, there's nothing wrong with Salah. He didn't assault Bruno Fernandes. It's kind of a non-controversy. It just is a sort of a talking point because it was an interesting moment. But anyway, Cristiano Ronaldo lacing up his boots, interestingly. Also, I'm noticing there's so many players with yellow boots and neon boots today that I noticed that, Ronaldo was putting on yellow boots, and now that I look at it, pretty much every player on the field is wearing yellow. So, I don't know, I guess these things just kind of go in trends, and it's all dictated by the boot makers, and they decide what colors they want the players to wear. But anyway, yeah, I don't really know what to do about this terrible quality, as Liverpool will need some crowd support, so let's give it to them. Jesus comes on for Robertson. Come on, Liverpool. Anytime you play, you never walk alone. It just gives you goosebumps, and I can't wipe the smile off my face. It's so important to the club and the fans that on even the gloomiest of days for Liverpool, it gives you hope. Double chance for triple chance. I've seen in the papers, what's it called? United linked with no shortage of Dutch players. Of course, they already have quite a few Ajax alumni. Doesn't make them Dutch, but certainly that familiarity that Ten Hag has with them, personally or just philosophy-wise, with someone like Eriksen. But yeah, they've been linked with Cody Gakpo, who I can't claim to know too much about. He's a PSV player, and who else? Anthony at Ajax. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, you expect managers to sign players from their native league, but it is getting to be quite a bit of, I mean, they've already got at least those 3 Ajax alums on the pitch being, or finding their way on the pitch today. Obviously, Eriksen came off for Donny van de Beek, as well as Lisandro Martinez. And you would have had, Daley Blind in recent years as well. Here's Tsimikas finding, who I have to believe is Diaz. I can't tell. This is how bad. This is 2022, and Peacock's quality is terrible. Bruno traps it for Mo Salah, who plays it into the box, and it acrobatically is attacked by Bobby Firmino. But unfortunately, it is a goal kick for Manchester United, as there are 2.5 minutes left, and it's Varane who is going to take his own cramp break, as Firmino is standing right over David De Gea and Varane. Lisandro Martinez is hugging / pulling Firmino away from standing over Varane in protection. I don't know. He's got this attitude that I don't care for, Lisandro Martinez. But luckily, I won't have to watch him too much. I wonder what United fans' relationship with Ronaldo will be, assuming that he leaves this offseason, and how he's behaved. I think, if I had to guess, I think obviously rational United fans will love him long term, obviously being one of United's greatest ever players, probably the greatest United player I've ever seen. But he really has not behaved super well, I think, kind of to be expected. He is a bit of a diva, and somewhat rightly so, but you never want to Liverpool running out of room in the 18-yard box, and Fabio Carvalho gives a bit of a shove to Lisandro Martinez, who of course goes to ground. I think Michael Oliver sees that it was a bit of a dive there and does not book Carvalho. Yeah, Martinez definitely looks for it, and he jumps. This guy's such a clown. Oh, and he does the fish flop on the ground as well. What a joke. You hate, and again, this isn't just because it's Manchester United. Yeah, I would hate this if this were Brighton or West Ham or any club, or Barcelona, whatever. It's terrible to watch this simulation garbage, and I hope United fans think the same. Fabio Carvalho swings and misses, as Liverpool really having a bad day at the office, as Ronaldo goes for a left-footed, doesn't even try to bring the ball down. It's 5 minutes left. In stoppage, and Klopp is very animated still on the sideline. He's screaming probably about Liverpool's self-inflicted errors as Virgil is on the ball. He plays the ball out to the right-hand side looking for Trent, who, again, this has not been one of his finest games. Liverpool out of possession quite quickly. All it took was me blinking, and United were in possession. Here's Martial, who has the ball. Alisson has to come address the danger, and it looked like it could have been United's third there. Martial, I think the right decision was to lay it off to someone as Alisson was drawn, and Elliott is fouled. He is slamming on the floor. I think he might have just been unhappy with the challenge that he received, as opposed to, of course, you fear he kind of caught a cleat on the ankle. And, of course, him having ankle problems, he was not too pleased with that one. But he is off running again as Fabinho rides a challenge from Ronaldo. He's fouled by somebody else. Bruno Fernandes fakes some sort of hand to the face garbage. Gee, I'm sick of this guy. Virgil out to Tsimikas, who plays the ball to Gomez. Liverpool really need to make something happen here. I'm not seeing it. Virgil brings the ball down with a header to Gomez. Fabinho fouled by Donny van de Beek. At least Fabinho's trying to make something happen. I'm not even saying it's necessarily all the right ideas. He's just trying to be sort of a one-man show. On one hand, I appreciate the fact that he doesn't trust his teammates that have been really underperforming all game long. Virgil goes up into the center forward position. This is just a ball from around the center circle. Trent fires it forward. Virgil is the first one to get a touch on it. Can't really do much with it. Ronaldo with a defensive header. Here's a little bit of ping pong between both of the teams. There's Wan-Bissaka, who goes through the back of Fabio Carvalho. Not so obvious of a foul there, and it was kind of in the corner of the 18. No one really appealing because it would have been a soft one, but I think in the middle of the field that probably would have been a foul because he went straight through him. Sometimes those are awkward where you go over someone's back and then is it someone undercutting, doing like the Kane type of thing, but I do think that one was Wan-Bissaka fouling. And I think this game is just going to kind of peter out as United win a foul inside their own half. Inside their own half. That suffices. Dear, oh dear. All you can say as a Liverpool fan. That's all you can say. United fans are whooping it up, as they should. Well, I think my stream is behind. I just tuned in to see what the Red Men had to say in my ear. And they're quite a bit ahead of me. So I think you guys watching this at home are probably in the future. But Ronaldo takes a flop in the box, just like his countryman, Bruno, and he has the same reaction. he gets up laughing, even though he knows that there was nothing in that. As Bruno is on the ball, he's carrying it forward. Virgil gets his head on it, and now it's Trent who bangs the ball forward in to Diaz, and Diaz fouls Bruno, and that will be that, I think. Really ugly performance by Liverpool, but the best you can say is the match is over, about to be over, and it is, according to my phone. So, anyway, nothing more really needs to be said about this dross, this garbage, this dumpster fire of a match by Liverpool. But once again, we'll go again. It is Bournemouth at home, so I don't know if I'll have a stream for that one, but if I am, please do tune in, and I'd be happy to talk to you then. If not, enjoy your weeks, and yeah, that's it. See ya.